been doing something or you've just been in something for a while and you're just like, I don't know, like I'm not feeling it anymore. Like, you know, it's not giving what it says it's supposed to give. Like, happy Friday, guys. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for staying subscribed to me. For my newest subscribers, let me give you a little synopsis of what my channel is. Let me give you a little run through. I used to do a lot of food things for my channel. Everything was just food based, you know? I still have a food blog and I'm gonna link that below on Instagram. But for my YouTube channel, I thought I would put some more of my life into it. I want to show more of my personality and who I am. So this is going to be more so of a lifestyle channel. I'm still going to do food, but I'm going to do more of my personality and more of me. So you guys are going to get a little bit of everything. As some of you may know, I have moved to Houston, Texas in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a pandemonium. Like, girl, what are you doing? What you doing? This is what happens when you're going through a midlife crisis at 25 and you think you want some change. You're over it, you are over your city, everything is happening at once and you just want to get away. Honestly, I was going through so much shit. Like, when I tell you it felt like the world was on my shoulders, it felt like I was about to break. I was literally at my breaking point. You ever just been doing something or you just been in something for a while and you're just like, I don't know, like I'm not feeling it anymore. Like, you know, it's not giving what it says it's supposed to give. Like, first of all, I was going through a breakup. My environment was so shitty. Like, my living situation was crap. I was having family problems. Like, I was getting so depressed. I was not eating nearly as much as I should have. Like, none of my clothes were fitting and I had to throw away most of my stuff before I came here because everything was so fucking big and I was just losing weight. Like, yay for weight loss, but in that way, bro, that fucking sucks. Like, nobody wants to be fucking depressed. It just felt like a chore to do things that I wanted to do. It felt like a chore to do the things that I loved. And the only thing I was doing for myself was going to the gym and going to work. I felt like I was on autopilot. Like, I don't like this at all. I was not having fun in my city. And I understand that, like, you could do so many things, like try to fuck it away, try to move away, try to do this and that. But you can't do any of those things until you work on what's going on here. But in my opinion, if your environment is fucked up, you're gonna be fucked up. And for me, I was not in a good living situation at the time. I had to go. Nothing was working for me and I hated my job too. Like, I was a certified teacher's assistant. I was like, after 3 years, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not my career path. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna move to Texas. I'm gonna go to school down here. I'm gonna get cheap ass housing down here. And after I get my degree, if I don't like it, I can come back. Or I can move to a new state. It is what it is. I think of it as going away to college. Like, as simple as that. It's just like going away to college. Like, come here, get your degree. After you get your degree, if you don't like the city no more, guess what? Pick up and go to a new one. Or you can go back to your hometown. So it just felt like the city I was in, it was not doing it for me no more. I was like, I gotta go. Like, this is not cute. Like, I'm depressed as fuck. I am not having fun. And it was just so small. Like, if I wanted to make more friends in Albany, it's like everybody already knew each other. Of course, you're gonna get homesick. Of course, once you go out and do it, you're gonna have the fears of like, oh my God, what if I made the wrong decision? Like, you know, what if I fail? Like, these are just your thoughts coming to you that, you know, they freak you out a little bit. They try to get you back to what you already know when you are put out of your comfort zone. When you are put out of your comfort zone and you're being tested, your mind tends to go back to what you already know. Your mind tends to keep you in the place that you currently are to prevent yourself from being uncomfortable. Like, nobody wants to be uncomfortable because it's uncomfortable. Like, you don't grow in your comfort zone. Like, once you put one foot in front of the other, I promise you, it's gonna fall into place. Like once you make a plan, say I'm gonna do this by this date, by this time, and start giving yourself little deadlines for things and meet them, you're gonna have more motivation as you start to do these things. So, you know, just believe in yourself. Like I started getting into manifestation. So I bought me a journal and I started manifesting the things that I want to happen in my future. It sounds crazy, it sounds all witchy voodoo, but no, I promise manifestation works. And once you start manifesting and feeling what you manifest and claiming it already as being yours, your intuition starts to build up too. Like you start to trust yourself more. And I feel like that brings me more confidence. That brought me so much confidence, is manifesting and knowing that these things that I want, they're very much attainable for me. They're attainable for me with a little hard work, you know, believing in God, believing in the universe, my spirit guides, spirit angels, like whatever you call it, whatever you want to believe. These things are very much attainable for me if I just put my trust into it. I put my trust into it, I put my trust into myself. Hey, these things are gonna work for me, and they're gonna work for me because I said so. They're gonna work for me because my higher up or the people that I believe in said so. Period. I'm gonna give y'all some tips about how I did it, about how I moved to Texas in the middle of a pandemic with some things. I moved with what I had. You know, if you want to stay in your hometown and go to school there and then move to a new state, that is totally fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. For me, I wanted the experience of just being in a different city. Like, I was not happy at all. I wasn't happy. So I'm like, I gotta go. I want to experience something new. I want to experience something better. And I just want to go. Like, I want to get kicked out of my comfort zone because I need to be shooketh. Like, I'm too stagnant right now. Like, nothing's happening. Like, I'm bored. I'm gonna be looking down because I wrote down some stuff on my laptop. So the first thing I would say do, the very first thing I would say do is get a journal. Figure out exactly what you want to do. What do you want to come out of this new moving situation? Get a journal, write down a plan, write down everything that you need to know for this new relocation. Everything. For me, that's step one. Whatever cities that you was thinking about moving to, I would write down the pros, the cons, everything that you need to know about each city that you think about moving to. So write down the minimum wage, write down the housing costs, write down, you know, how much things is gonna cost for you once you live there. Write down everything that's negative and positive that could change your mind or push you more towards moving to that city. Next is money. I wouldn't say that you need a whole bunch of money to move to a new state, but I would say have something that could give you a cushion just in case you don't find a job quick enough, just in case you don't find an apartment quick enough. Have something that will give you some cushion, you know, make you feel comfortable in moving to a new city. You know, I would say, I don't want to give you an amount, but for me, I would say at least move with like $2,000 to $3,000, you know, $2,000 to $3,000 in addition to what you would pay for your security deposit and your first month's rent. I would say in addition to that. You know, of course, there are some people and some stories out there of people making it work with just $1,000 or a couple $100s, but I'm saying, you know, if you got the opportunity to save a little more, save a little more. You never know, like, what expenses to come up. You gotta buy your flight if you just flying down. You gotta pay for gas if you driving down. Not to mention that first grocery trip, that first household trip when you move into a new place, let alone a new state. I don't even want to mention how much I spent. Like, come on, it's expensive. It can get expensive. Honestly, you make that decision whether you want to get all your necessities and like your kitchen stuff, your living room stuff, whether you want to get all that stuff in one trip or if you want to do little by little. Like, you can do little by little. You don't have to get everything that you need for your house right away. You never know what expenses can come up. Like, life happens. What if your apartment isn't ready for moving yet? So you gotta stay in a hotel for a couple days. You gotta dish out more money for that. If you don't find a job quick enough, you gotta have money put aside for maybe 2-3 months rent. Just think of the future, because we are in a pandemic. You never know how the job search is gonna be. Like, look out for yourself. On to the job searching, and I feel like this can be a little bit tricky. If you have a job in your city that is national, you know, they have companies like everywhere in every single state or like every single city, see if you are able to transfer to the state that you want to go to or the city that you want to go to. Just call up the location that you want to work for and the state that you want to go to. See if they have any open positions, and if they don't, see if they'll accept any transfers. You know, sometimes they might not have any open positions, but if you're a transfer, they're more likely to fit you in somewhere. So say the company that you work for in your current city is not national. If your moving date is far out, I would say look up a company that is national. Get like a little second job, a little rinky-dink job. Look up a company that is national, you know? Start working there in your city for, I would say, like 90 days, get your probationary period out there, and then ask if you can transfer. So yeah, like get a job at like, I don't know, like a fabric store or something, like Michael's or BJ's, Walmart, companies that are everywhere. Like find a job that you could just get anywhere. That way, when you get to your new state, you have something. Like even if it's not a job that you really want to do, you have something, you know, to bring in some type of money. Money is money. And until you get the job that you want, you can still be working and bringing in some cash, like at least have the rent paid, you know, and have some savings. When I had like 2-3 months left before I moved to Texas, I was applying to jobs in the city that I wanted to live in, but it wasn't working. Like they kept telling me, oh, maybe apply like a couple weeks before you get there. I was panicking. I was like, what? Like, I can't do that. Like, I need a job now. I need something secured. Like, I can't wait closer to when I move, because what if you don't accept me? Then it's like, oh my God, I have nothing. Like, I have no job. Like, if you're trying to apply to jobs early, like 2 months early or even a month early, you are probably going to get a lot of denials, because they're going to be like, you need to apply closer to when you want to move. Because like, what if you don't come? That's them saving a spot for you and saving it for nothing. They could have gave it to somebody else because you changed your mind last minute. You are lucky if you find an employer that does over the phone interviews or Zoom, FaceTime interviews, because they all want you to do it in person. If you can get them to fly you out and do an interview, if they really want you, that would be fucking amazing. Like, that would be great. Let's talk about apartment searching. This was annoying. Like, I will say that looking for an apartment was the most difficult part about moving. Why? I don't know. I signed up for a Facebook group called Houston Roommates, or like people that need roommates in Houston. So I connected with this girl, and you know, we talked for a little bit and we kind of discussed what we wanted to do with our moving situation, and we kind of had the same plan. So I was like, hey, all right, let's move. We're gonna move by this date. So like, we had our things together. We knew what we wanted to do. Boom. So we applied for apartment complexes, and we applied for like different apartments or like houses on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. The thing about apartment complexes is they're not gonna want to rent to you unless you have some type of residency in the city. We were like disapproved for so many places. We both had good credit, we both had money, and I had a reference from my landlord, my old landlord that I had in my current city, the current city I was in. I had a reference from her, and honestly, that still wasn't enough. It was just, I don't know, like I was not understanding, like, okay, like how are we supposed to, like, you know, move to this new city if no one's going to rent to us because we don't live in that city? It's like, you know, a job not wanting to hire you because you don't have experience. It's just like, how am I supposed to get experience if I've never worked that job before? Like, what the fuck? The easiest thing for you to do in that situation is rent a room in a house. Sometimes there are things in place for you to just rent a room for like a year, 6 months, 3 months, however long your lease can be. you can rent a room. So that way when your lease is up, you can move into an apartment complex, you can get a little studio, you can do whatever because you have residency. That's something that can happen, but I don't know if it always happens. You can always find like an independent landlord. Like my first apartment in my hometown, I got like a landlord. She was like independent, and I got it quick. Like I never moved out before. I never had my own apartment. I got that apartment quick. I don't even think they did a background check on me. They definitely didn't call my job for reference. So it's just like, you can find places to rent. You just gotta really, really look. And that search is difficult. The application fees, just giving the references, yada. Another thing that your landlord or an apartment complex might want from you is proof that you have a job. The job that you transferred to or the job that you applied to and got hired for, you can ask them for an offer letter to prove that you have employment. Like the offer letter can say whatever, like, you know, Anika Mendoza starts work this date at this rate at this company, you know, sincerely, whatever. They'll write you that offer letter if you just ask them and just give it to your apartment complex. And if they want to accept that, great. If you just give that to them, that can be your proof of employment. Okay, let's talk about how you're going to move there to this new state and how you're going to bring your things to this new state. When I moved, I decided to just order things. Like I decided to just order everything new and have it sent to my new address. Thank God my roommate moved in before I did. Well, she actually flew down here to look at the place. I wasn't able to fly down there and look at the place. She did first. So she flew down here, she looked at the apartment, and I was just like, bet, like, okay, it's cool. Because I wasn't trying to send my security deposit or shit to like a place and I didn't know anything about it. You know, what if I could have got scammed or something? Maybe see if you can like video chat the landlord or the apartment complex manager and, you know, see if you could just see the apartment before you get there. So thank God she was able to fly down here and look at the place and just verify that, okay, it's real, like everything is legit. So she did that and we finalized and shit. We paid, we signed the lease virtually. I FaceTimed the landlord and she showed me the place before I got here. So I was like, cool, like we did everything, we finalized it, we signed the lease virtually, and then we set up our moving date. So now that you have your money situation figured out, you got your apartment situation figured out, and you got your plan. You got your plan of where you want to go, you got everything in set. Now you got to figure out how you're going to get there. Well, if you have a car, you could definitely drive to the new city, depending on how far, if you want to make that drive. You could put, you know, whatever belongings that you want to take with you in your car, just pack up and go. You could throw away or sell, whatever. Depends on how fresh you want to start. Or you can go by plane if you don't want to take that drive and have all of your heavy furniture you hauled to that new state. And if it's far, it's gonna cost you. I lived in Albany, New York. So from Albany, New York to Houston, Texas, that U-Haul was going to be $1,600. $1,600. I said, boop, fuck out of here. I was like, I'm gonna just go shopping out here, fuck it. I'm not gonna take none of this shit with me. I'm gonna only take like, you know, a little bit of stuff. So I took some clothes with me. I took some of my belongings, my necessities, and I dipped. I took whatever I needed to. I had my money and I was just like, I left. I got everything I needed and I just left. So now I'm gonna talk about research. You wanna research what type of neighborhood that you're trying to live in. So do you wanna live in the suburbs? Do you wanna live in the city? Or do you wanna live like, you know, kind of in like a even area, like where it's not really the suburbs and where it's not really the city? I will say, if you're trying to live in the city area, like the downtown area of whatever state you want to move in, it's gonna be more expensive. Like downtown Houston, their apartments is so pretty, like, but you're gonna be paying a lot of money. You are gonna be paying a lot of money, but you do get a lot, you know, for what you pay for. So You gotta make that choice. You want to see if your apartment that you go into, you want to see if that apartment is a safe area, if they got pests and roaches and stuff like that. You want to do that type of research. If I'm moving in this area, am I gonna be able to get to work on time every day? You know, what's the transit like? What's the traffic like? Things like that. Like, you want to look at stuff like that. Once you have those 4 things that I mentioned, once you have those things together, everything else will fall into place. Don't overthink it. I promise you, everything's gonna fall into place. Put some trust in yourself. Like, believe in yourself. Like, don't think of it as like, oh, I'm not gonna move to that city. Like, what am I gonna do there? I'm gonna be doing the same thing I'm doing in my current city, but just there. Even if that is the case, so what? Like, you're starting fresh. You're in a new city. You're doing things differently in that new city because you weren't happy in that other city. Who knows? You could, you know, flourish. You could flourish in this new city that you moved into. And wouldn't it be pretty cool to just say like you moved to Texas or like fucking Vegas just because you wanted to? Like, just because you were tired of your city? Life is short, man. Just do what you want to do. Have a plan for yourself first. Make sure you have a plan, and you know, just wish you the best on your journey. Like, whatever you choose to do, I wish you the best. Like, I send my prayers out to everybody who's thinking about starting over, going to a new state, and just doing something different for themselves for once. Getting outside of your comfort zone because you just want to, because you feel that you need it. Something in your heart is calling you to go to this state or to that state. It's so exciting to talk about doing new things for yourself. So I wish everybody the best. Like, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope these tips were helpful. If you have any questions, leave them below. Alright fam, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if these tips were helpful to you. Peace.